Good morning, everyone. In today's session, we are going to discuss about the algorithms and the flowchart. So, this is comes under the first unit. So, in this algorithm and flowchart, we are going to discuss how this algorithm and flowchart to be framed. What are the components needed to design this? What is the importance of algorithm and flowchart in programming languages? Okay, first, a typical programming task can be divided into two phases. One is problem solving phase, second one is implementation phase. So, what is problem solving phase? So, it produces an ordered sequence to provide the solutions. Okay, so how the sequence will occur? The sequence will occur step by step. We called it as algorithm. So normally we name the algorithm as step by step procedure. Second, implementation phase. So implementing the program in any of the programming languages. Here we are using C programming languages so that after writing the algorithm we can able to implement the program in using the C editor. Okay, we can compile the program using the C compiler. Steps in problem solving. So normally when we code the program, any program, there may be a chances of errors. Okay, any type of errors, maybe a syntax error or a semantic error. First, to produce a general algorithm. How to produce one general algorithm? Using the pseudocode. Okay, so what is pseudocode? Pseudocode will also like a normal algorithm process where we include some technical terms along with that of the normal communication. Example, we can say printf. We can use the word any keywords, or we will use prototype likewise. So first we have to produce a general algorithm with the help of the pseudocode. Second, we have to refine the algorithms step by step in a detailed algorithm that is very closer to the computer language. So what is the meaning of this? Refining. Refining is nothing but tuning the algorithm. So once at the first time if you write the algorithm, it will be somewhat okay. Okay. Second time if you go through the algorithm, compare with that of the program, you can see that you can able to tune in better manner. Again, if you look into deeper with your algorithms, you can make your algorithm a very good process. So any persons who are viewing the algorithm can understand the programs thoroughly without any confusion. So pseudocode. We can say that pseudocode is an informal language. I told you that along with that of the English language. Okay, we will use some technical terms like keywords or any assembler code formats or any syntax related to the languages. So they are naming that type of format called informal language. So the difference between the formal language and informal language. Formal language is similar to that of the normal language like English. whereas informal language is more or less similar to that, and along with that some informal terms like technical terms will be added with that. Pseudocode and algorithm. First, we see an example. Write an algorithm to determine the student's final grade and decide whether it is passing or failing. Final grade is calculated as the average of 4 marks. First, so this is the informal language with the formal language. It's called pseudocode. Pseudocode. Okay, pseudo. What is the meaning of the pseudo? False. Okay, normally the meaning of the pseudo is false. You see the steps of the pseudocode. Input a set of 4 marks. Calculate their average by summing and dividing by 4. If average is below 50, print fail, else print positive. Once if you see the pseudocode, you can able to understand the what had the programmer coded. The same thing which is explained in the formal language, English language, we call it as an algorithm. Example, likewise. Next one is flowchart. So what is flowchart? The programming, the representing the program in the form of diagrams. Okay, like we can say n number of symbols with the help of the diagrams. Okay, if you see the diagram once, you have a very clear idea about what it is. So that we call it as a flowchart. Okay, it is the semantic representation. They are naming the word of using the symbols of the diagram. They are naming it as semantic representations. So next one is a graphical representations of the sequence of operation in an information system or program. So we named it as the semantic representation as a graphical things. So the information system flowchart, it shows how the data flow from the starting to the ending. That is complete source document. Okay. The program flows shows the sequence of instructions in a particular single program, and the different symbols are used to draw the different types of flowcharts. So the flowchart, it shows a logic of an algorithm, emphasize the individual steps and their interconnections. Example, the control flow from one action to the next, or else the decision taken at the particular point, anything. So here these are the basic symbols or the graphical representations that is used in the flowchart. One is oval, parallelogram, rectangle, diamond, hybrid, flow line, etc. Algorithm. So this is an flowchart. This is an algorithm. So you see the flowchart. I had shown the different symbol for start and stop. It will be a same symbol. Okay. For variables. Okay. We are using a parallelogram. The rectangle is used to represent the operations, and diamond, that is the diagonal, used to represent the decision making. To proceed with the process, we are using this type of symbols. A simple flowchart diagram which is very easy for you to understand. Next one, the same like I had given another examples to make you to understand, because I had given different examples, because the thing is that once if you started to practice different programs with the help of the flowchart, then you can easily identify or calculate the flow of the program. Okay, and also you will be get well practice of using the pseudocode and also the algorithm. So you see, this is the simple algorithm to convert the feet into length. So what we will do for pseudocode, we want to get the length feet. Then we have to calculate the length by multiplying the length feet measurements with 30. Then we have to print the LCM. Okay, so that we will get the conversions from the length in feet to centimeters. So this is the simple diagram, flowchart diagram under their algorithm. So students, now you try to draw the flowchart. Just I had shown the question and the pseudocode. All of you take the paper and try to do it. Even if it is wrong, no issue. No need to worry. I will display the answer in a minute. Okay. So all of you take a paper. Now your time starts. Okay. I will give 2 to 3 minutes. Proceed with the pseudocode algorithm and flowchart. It will not take more than 3 minutes. Starts. Okay, those who are writing proceeded, and those who are returning a pseudocode or algorithm or the flowchart, now you can see this. Whether your flow comes like this, then you are capable of understanding the graphical representations. Okay. So you have to practice the mathematical notations also to represent in the flow chart. Not only a normal program, the mathematical concepts using is also very important. So now you can see the equations. Now we will see how the flow chart takes place. So the pseudocode is we have to input the coefficient ABC of the quadratic equation. Next, calculating the value D, then calculate D1, then we have to calculate the x1, then we have to calculate the x2, then finally you have to print both the variable x1 and x2. See the algorithm and the flowchart. So I told you whatever operations, okay, all the operations to be represented only in the rectangle box. So in the previous example, you may noted that you may use you may noted that in the previous example, you may use one or two rectangle symbols only because the particular program will basic program will consist of only one operation. Suppose if more than one mathematical operations or any calculations has been taken place, there is no constraint to draw the restrictions to draw the number of boxes. As per your wish, you can able to draw. So here we are using three equations so that I am taking off three rectangle box and I am representing the equations. So next, decision structures. So in the flowchart, while we are drawing the graphical notations of decision, can anyone guess what symbol it is? The symbol is the diamond. Okay, diamond symbol. So which is used for decision structure. So in this decision structure, the expression A greater than B is a logical expression. Okay. So it describes a condition we want to test. If A is greater than B is true, then we have to take the action on the left. Okay, and further we have to print it. Suppose if A is greater than B is false statement, then we have to take the actions on the right and you have to print the value. So this is the procedure. Whenever you are using the flowchart, you have to recall these concepts of how to represent. Okay, and what are the different symbols to represent. Second one, if you are taking any decision, how to take the success decision and how to take the failure decision. Success decision is on the right, and the success decision is on the left, and failure decision is on the right. See here we had represent the value a is greater than b. I am saying the value of a is 10 and the value of b is 5. So here the condition is true. So 10 is greater than 5. Okay. So it will takes the actions of printing the a value. So the result a value 10 is get printed in the program. Suppose if the statement is false, then it has to come to the right side. Okay. Then it will print the value of b. The value of b is some any numerical value what you are fixing. Okay. Next one is if else then structure. So I think that during the classes I had told you about the basic looping statements, and also in the lab we will see about the basic structures. If statement, if else statement, nested if statement, many conditions are there. So here we are seeing about if else statement. So what is if? So we are giving some condition, okay, and you are checking the condition is whether true or false. If the condition is true, then you are mentioning that the content which you had printed in the if statements to be displayed. Suppose if the condition you are giving is false, then whatever statement you had given in the else block have to be displayed. So this is the simple condition. Okay. Have a look on it about the algorithm of the flowchart, how it looks. A is greater than b, the same as like the before what we said, but here we are using the statement of if else. These are the relational operators. What are the relational operators? Greater than, less than, equal to, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, or not equal to. So these operators, these type of symbols which are used in the programming language called operators, and these operators are named as relational operators. So using these relational operators, we are writing the program. Okay, you see what relational operator is used here in this program. The relational operator greater than is used. So I can showing that all of you see the slide in the step 2 that the relational operator is used if value 1 greater than. So this greater than is the relational operator, followed with value 2 close, then is followed with the printed statement. Else if it is not failure, then the data in the else statement will be printed. So this is the flowchart for that. Next one is nested if. So one of the alternative for if then else statement. So nested if means we will have n number of if statement, and each and every if statement will takes place. If it is false, then will goes to the else statement. It is like a single if else statement, but rather than a single if, here we are having one or more if statements. Let me see this example so that you clearly understand. You see, normally in the program you will use the step 1 if and the followed with any one of the else. But here what you are doing, if condition then, if condition then, that if the second if statements followed with else statement, then end if. Then again the master if, the else statement. So each and every block statement has a sequence for if and else. Okay. Suppose if it starts with f, immediately it has to end with else. Likewise here the primary if is there, secondary is there. So likewise n number of if you can put, but whenever you are put the first, the inside if statement has to be closed with else, and further the next, further next, and finally the primary has to be closed, and end if has to be given. So this is the simple procedure for using the nested if statement. So the same thing, the help of simple example. I get shown here. This is the algorithm for that. You can have a look on it for a minute. This is a simple calculation for related to the program. Okay, so what we had go through in this session. So in this session, I had clearly explained you about what is algorithm, what is flow chart. Okay, the what is the difference between the algorithm and the flow charts. Okay, and how the algorithms can be handled effectively, how to write the algorithms. Okay, and small tips which I had given to note it while doing the algorithms, writing the algorithms. Likewise for flowchart, the notations of the flowchart and the different operations that is to be represented in the symbols and with different examples. Okay, hope session will be more understandable for you. Even if you have any queries, you can contact me at gerald.kumar@galgodiasuniversity.edu.in. Thank you all.